Hello my students, I am your English teacher from Borjola Binapani Higher Secondary School, and today we will be doing a topic of Standard 12 from your book, the supplementary book Vistas. Today our topic is going to be really beautiful, magical and amazing. Yes, right. It's a prose. It's like it has science in it, it has emotions in it, it has knowledge in it and so much more, my dear students. I am very excited to share this experience with you. I hope you are ready too. So what's our topic? You will know. Students, have you watched the movie Titanic? It's a beautiful movie, and if you have not watched it right now, you should watch it. So in the Titanic, we all know that there was a huge ship, in fact I should say the largest ship in the world, Titanic, and there were thousands of passengers, and they were going to some destination, right? And on the way, when they were traveling through the ocean, the ship Titanic actually it collided with a large iceberg. And when it collided with the iceberg, what happened? And the iceberg was so huge that the ship was broken. And when it breaks, the water from the iceberg, it melts, and the entire water, in fact I should say not only the iceberg but the water from the ocean started entering the ship, and eventually the ship was drowned. But here I want you to focus on the iceberg itself. The iceberg, as you can see in the picture, it's huge. It's like a mountain almost. Can you imagine how large, how vast it might have been that such a large ship was broken? And you know that ships are running at a particular speed, and with that speed, when it collided with the iceberg, it broke. But this iceberg, you see, it's so beautiful, it's so white. It's white everywhere. Students, wouldn't it be very amazing if you go to such a place where there are only such icebergs? Nothing else, no trees, no humans, no buildings, just you and the icebergs, the glaciers. Ice and ice everywhere, and it's white everywhere. Seems like heaven. So today I will take you to one of such magical places. So my dear students, what's our topic today? Our topic today is Journey to the End of the Earth by Tishani Doshi. And here I should say that it's not a story, it's not an essay, it's actually a travelogue. That is, our author, she has traveled to a very beautiful place and she gives us her first-hand experience of it. Okay, and she says if you reach that one particular place, you will get to know about the past, the present and the future of our earth. Isn't that amazing? One place and so many knowledge? Yes, right. We will get to know everything about it, but at first, let's talk about our author.
Okay, so she is our author Tishani Doshi, and South Indian writer, and she was born on 9 December 1975 in Madras, India. She was born to Welsh and Gujarati parents, and she earned a BA from Queen's College in North Carolina and an MA from Johns Hopkins University. After working in the fashion magazine industry in London, Doshi returned to India and settled there.
So what's the place that our author is going? Where is it? Where is the end of the world? That means it's the bottomest part of our Mother Earth. And what's that? It's the coolest place on earth. Yes, right. It's Antarctica, my students. So let's go to Antarctica. Come, join me.
Students, I will describe the travelogue in the first person so that you can understand it better. So let's start. So I started my journey in a Russian research ship, the academic Shokalsky, in the start of the year. I was about to go to the coolest place on earth. And do you know what's that place? It's Antarctica. Yes, you heard it right. My journey started 13.9 degrees from Madras, and I covered almost 9 time zones, 6 checkpoints and 3 bodies of water, so many animals, so many ecospheres, and it took me almost 100 hours to reach Antarctica. And the moment I reached the Antarctic continent, Oh, I can't tell you what a sight I got to see. As far as I could see only white landscapes. It was all white, only ice. It felt like it's heaven, the meeting of earth and sky. You would be amazed to know that many years ago, Antarctica and India were the same land. And yes, you don't believe me? Okay, let me tell you a history. Almost 650 millions of years ago, the seven continents that we have now, they weren't there. There was a single landmass to the south of the earth, Gondwana. But sad, Gondwana is now lost in the sands of time. And in place of Gondwana, we have Antarctica. There were no humans in the time of Gondwana. There were different animals which are extinct now, like dinosaurs and many other animals. And when the dinosaurs started to extinct, Gondwana also started to break. And yes, then the next generation of Earth started. That is, the species of animals, new species, like humans, yes, we humans, we started to appear on Earth. I told you right that India and Antarctica were part of the same landmass Gondwana. What happened? India hid towards the north of Gondwana and the Himalayas were formed by this collision. In fact, South America was also created from this Gondwana and then South and North America were created. How amazing this formation would have been, right? Just think how these countries were being separated from each other and how by the collisions the mountains also start forming. In this way the Indian Himalayas were also formed. Okay, so now let me tell you about myself. I belong to the south of India and we worship the sun god, right? Now just think, people like me from such a warm country have now to travel to Antarctica and that also for 2 weeks. The coolest, windiest and the driest place. No sunlight, no warmth, no trees, no billboards, no buildings, no humans. The bottomest part of the world. No time zone. But wait, you will get to see many things there, even the smallest of creatures like a mosquito or a mite to blue whales. And you will feel so different, so strange, and so new. And you know, the icebergs you can see, they are the largest on the earth. So much so that an iceberg is even bigger than the country of Belgium. Can you imagine? And you would be amazed to know that there's no night time even after 12 hours of daylight in Antarctica. It's 6 months of daytime there and 6 months of night time. And what's the thing you should see there mostly is silence. Shh. There's nothing to stop this silence. Only the sounds of ice breaking and ice falling, that is the avalanches. That's all that you get to hear here. Okay, so now let's talk about the humans. We humans came to world only a mere 12,000 years ago. That is, we came very late than the history of the earth that came 650 millions of years ago. But in these few years, we humans have made a ruckus out of this Mother Earth. We have turned everything upside down. And no doubt that we have developed so many things, so many cities, so many villages, mega cities, and whatnot. We have made the earth a slave almost, and we want to control it. Right? And our population is increasing rapidly. We are exploiting the resources that are limited, but we are exploiting them unlimitedly. Our industries and power plants are heating up. Carbon dioxide is being emitted, which is dangerous for this earth. Climate is changing and it is turning dangerous every day. Carbon is being recklessly used by us. On the earth, the global warming is increasing and climate is also changing. Can you see the polar bear? What has happened to him? It is now dying. It is also going to be extinct only due to climate change. I'm afraid a day may come when the entire ice of Antarctica will start melting down. No, I don't want that. Please stop it. Okay, now I want to tell you why I'm going to Antarctica because I'm a member of a program and the name of the program is Students on Ice. Okay, and it has been organized by Geoff Green, a Canadian person. The motto of this program is to take high school students to the end points of this earth so that they can have a first hand look into the beauty of our planet. They can see the opportunities and find out myriad ways to save this planet, to find respect for Mother Earth. I have been working on this program for 6 years now, and I am taking students with us as they are the futures of the earth. They are the future policymakers. If they become aware and they see that icebergs and glaciers are actually melting down, they will be aware of the environmental problems. We won't tell them, but we will show them in real, and that's why this Antarctica trip. You know, people, it's very easy to sit at home on the bed and sofa and ignoring these things. But once you reach Antarctica, right, you will realize what dangerous yet beautiful journey it is. You know, people, you can see different animals, trees, but no human in Antarctica. But one thing you can find there is phytoplanktons, a little plant. This plant is so amazing that it performs photosynthesis by using sun's energy and also stops carbon. My god. This small plant has been maintaining the food chain of Antarctica. Can you imagine? If these phytoplanktons die, then the entire Antarctica and the living creation will die. And what we humans are doing with the earth. Now, the scientists have also given a final warning that if the ozone layer gets depleted anymore, then the entire world will be destroyed in a jiffy. Let me tell you about a life lesson that you should remember all your life. Take care of small things and the big things will fall into place. Yes, save the phytoplanktons, save the Antarctica, save the earth. Okay, so now let me tell you about a more adventurous part of my journey. Just when our ship was about to reach Antarctica, we reached a point where there were only ice, and so our ship was stuck between the peninsula and Tadpole Islands, and the ship could not move. Then our captain suggested a way and said that the ship has to proceed by turning towards the north. Everyone got down and we started walking through the ocean to reach our destination. We were like, how do we walk over the ocean? How to walk on ice cold water? But to our utter amazement, we did. The water was frozen as ice and we had to walk on the ice sheets. We, the team of 52 members, everywhere it was only ice. I can't describe it in words. Below our feet it was a different world, an ocean. We could see the fishes and other water animals were also there under our feet. Oh, see that! What's there? Those seals, right? They are basking in the sun. A scene not to be forgotten. Finally, yes, finally, we have reached the beautiful and the coolest place of the world, Antarctica. This 2 week stay was like a revelation to me, you know. What are we waiting for, dear people? Are we waiting to get extinct like the dinosaurs did? No, right? Don't sit. Don't keep quiet. Look, rise up and save the earth before it's too late. Let's join hands and ask ourselves that the ice really is melting. The journey to the end point of the earth made me realize that how fast we are actually moving towards the actual end of the world. So please, please go to Antarctica someday. You know why? Because there you will get to know about the history of the world. You will see white mountains, different animals. Oh, what a sight. You can see there the past, present and future of Earth. You will see the real vast mountain chains and you will get to see animals that seem like so unreal. Really, I can't believe all these were present in the earth since million of years, and the trip of Antarctica has changed my life.
So, my dear students, how was your journey? Wasn't it beautiful? Okay. So now, only traveling is not going to help. Right? You have to prepare for your exams as well. So I will be explaining all those important things with you. Okay? So please pay attention to whatever topics I am now going to talk about, and also keep a note in your copies about the different spellings, because the spellings are also a little tough. Okay? So let's start. Students, our writer Tishani Doshi, she writes a travelogue. And what's a travelogue? That is, she has traveled to a place and she has given her experience of it. Okay? Okay. Now students, you see what I have written here. Students on Ice. This is the name of a program, or this is the name of a mission. Students on Ice. And as the name suggests, it's a program of taking high school students to such parts of the earth which are very cool, that is to the ends of the world, if I say, that is to the hemispheres where there's nothing but ice, where there's no human inhabitation. Okay, so Students of Ice is a program of taking high school students to some geological areas of the world, and this program has been started by a person called Geoff Green. Geoff Green is a Canadian person and he has started this program called Student on Ice. Okay, and what's his mission, my dear students? He says that he doesn't want to take elderly persons as such, like retired persons or celebrities, to this mission, but he wants to take students on this mission, that is high school students. Now why so students? Why high school students? Because you see, students like you are the future policy makers of this world, right? You will be making policies for our Mother Earth, the policies that will save our earth and that will teach everyone a journey towards sustainable development. Okay, so this is the program, and our writer Tishani Doshi is also a part of this program. Alright, okay. Now they are traveling to where? They are traveling to the coolest place on earth, that is Antarctica. And by what are they traveling? They are traveling through a ship, and the name of the ship is Academic Shokalski. Okay, you see the name is a little tough, so note it down. The name of the ship is Academic Shokalski, Antarctica. Where's Antarctica? As you can see in the picture, it's one of the bottomest part. It's the bottomest part of our earth. It's the coolest, the driest and the windiest part of earth. It's cool and it's ice and ice everywhere. Okay, so how they reach Antarctica and what have they seen there and how Antarctica was formed, all these things she has discussed in this particular essay. So my students, our author Tishani Doshi says that she had started her journey from Madras. Madras is in India, right? That we presently call Madras as Chennai. So she started her journey from Madras, 13.9 degree north of equator, right? So what's the equator, my dear students? You may see in the picture that equator is the line. It's an imaginary line in the middle of the earth that divides the earth into two parts, the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So what she wants to say is that she had started her journey from Madras towards the bottomest part of the world. You must well understand that it's a long journey through the ship, by the ship, right? And in her journey, she crosses so many things. She crosses 9 time zones. What are time zones, my dear students? Time zones are that in different countries, in different places of the earth, in the far off places of the earth, the times are different. For example, the time now in India, if it's 12 noon, then it's America, it's not noon time. It might be evening time or it might be daytime. So in different countries, the times are different. So she says that she has crossed such 9 time zones, that is different places. Okay, once there was night, another time there was day, like that. Then she crosses 6 checkpoints. And what are checkpoints? Checkpoints are where the different ships or by road also, if you are traveling, there are different checkpoints where they check that where you are going, you have to pay some tax and all that. So checkpoints. Students, keep a notice on these numbers: 9 time zones, 6 checkpoints. Then she had also crossed 3 bodies of water, that is different oceans also she has crossed on her way to Antarctica, and many ecospheres, many places, many different types of places she had been traveling in her way towards Antarctica. Okay, and she says that her journey was almost of 100 hours of journey. 100 hours, can you believe it? And her journey was not only through ship, she might have traveled through aeroplane also, and then ship also, and alternatively, and finally they reached Antarctica. Now next our author says that she talks about the past of the history of the earth, right? You remember in the beginning of the video I had said that our author says if you travel to Antarctica, you will be able to know about the past, the present and the future of our earth. So first she describes the past of our earth. Okay, she talks about that India and Antarctica were part of the same continent. Earlier many millions of years ago, when even India and Antarctica were not named even. At that time, India and Antarctica were a part of the same continent or a land mass, okay, that is a part of the same land called Gondwana. This name is very important, Gondwana. In Gondwana then, there were no humans, nothing was there. I am talking about almost 650 million years ago. This landmass used to exist, Gondwana. Okay? And up to 500 million years, Gondwana thrived. So this landmass, Gondwana, it existed for almost 500 million years. Okay? Then what happened? During those 500 million years, there were dinosaurs also. See in the picture, dinosaurs, you must have seen dinosaurs in movies like Jurassic Park, right? Yes. So dinosaurs were there, and gradually what happened, my dear students, the temperature of the earth, it started to warm up. It was ice everywhere, and suddenly it started to warm up. And when it started warming up, or the climate started changing, dinosaurs or many other animals, they went extinct. They all died and wiped out from the surface of the earth. And during those times, many geological changes also started coming in the planet Earth. And what happened, my students? This landmass called Gondwana, it also started separating. Like there might have been some landslide, there might have been some kind of earthquakes and all that, and the landmass Gondwana started to separate. And when Gondwana started separating, it gave birth to the different countries, or the globe that we get to see today, the present countries of today, and India and Antarctica. So that's why I say that India also has come from Gondwana. Alright, so today our place of interest is only Antarctica. So as I said earlier also, that Antarctica, according to Tishani Doshi, Antarctica represents the Earth's past. Okay, and she talks about that you get to see so much in Antarctica. You get to know about the Cordilleran folds, the Precambrian granite shields. And what are these? Folds stands for rocks, shields, granite shield, these are also different kind of rocks. Okay, then ozone is also there, carbon. Antarctica has large volumes of carbon also, and you have to know about all these things, and you will get to know about all these things once you visit Antarctica. She talks about that when Gondwana, as I said, when Gondwana started to break, then the different continents were formed. So just imagine that a huge landmass is breaking, and one part is now India, and India moved towards the north of Gondwana. Okay, and when it started moving upwards, it collided with the upper landmass, that is Asia. So India collided with Asia, and because of this collision, the Himalayas were formed. Okay, so the Himalayas were formed due to the collision of India against Asia towards the north. And then South and North America were also born out of this when Gondwana started to break. So all these countries, different countries had started to come out. And Antarctica remained towards the bottomest part of Gondwana, which is now known as Antarctica. Alright, now she talks that she is a South Indian, right? As I have already told you that Tishani Doshi is a South Indian. She worships sun god. We also worship sun as Surya Devta, right? So she says that I am a South Indian and I worship the sun god, that is I am from such a warm country like India, and then I have to go to Antarctica, to the coolest place on earth where there are no warmth at all. How might be the feeling, right? It's adventurous, it's chilling. She says that she had to stay in Antarctica almost for 2 weeks in their mission, right? And 90% of the ice of Earth, the 90% of Earth's total volume of ice is there in Antarctica. So how cool it could be. There were no trees, no houses, no human, no billboards. Billboards means notice boards. There's nothing in Antarctica. There's ice all around. It's white, absolute white. It has the largest iceberg. The largest iceberg of the world is also there in Antarctica. And you know what's the size of the iceberg? The iceberg is like the size of the country called Belgium. So the iceberg or the ice mountain is of the size of a country. Can you imagine it? Isn't it wonderful? From small to large animals, small animals to large animals, you can see everything in Antarctica. Small animals like from a mosquito to a blue whale, everything you can see in Antarctica, and you will feel like it's the beginning of the earth. Earth has just started. There's no pollution, nothing, only natural beauty. There's no sound in Antarctica, my students. There's no sound. It's absolute silence. The only sound that you get to hear in Antarctica is of the ice. When ice breaks down, you hear a sound. That is avalanches. And what are avalanche? When icebergs breaks down. This is known as avalanche, the process. Okay. Now she talks that about the day and night formation in Antarctica. She says that there's no night in Antarctica. That is, in our country, after 12 hours, it's night, right? 12 hours day, 12 hours night. But it's not like that in Antarctica. It's only summer light. Summer light goes on and on for months. So, there's actually 6 months of day and 6 months of night in Antarctica. How amazing is that, right, students? Like 6 months, it's only day. And then 6 months, it's only night. No light, absolute darkness and absolute silence. So until now, our author has been talking about Antarctica, its beauty, and what was her? She was thrilled the moment she landed up in Antarctica, and she got to see the earth as fresh as it was 650 millions of years ago. Okay, the Antarctica that gave her a flashback towards the history of the earth, the past of the earth. So fresh, so beautiful. Now, my dear students, why is she saying that the past was beautiful? Is the present not beautiful? It is. It is. But there are many problems that humans have started on this earth. This beauty of Antarctica is gradually wiping out. How and why? Let's see in the next lines. So now she talks about the present condition of earth. Okay, and what she says is that human impact. She talks about the human impact on Earth's beauty. She says that human has come on this earth like 12,000 years ago, and Earth has started 650 million years ago, right? So we human have only come in 12,000 years. And she says before human came, the earth was so beautiful. And what has happened now? She is talking about the other parts of the world other than Antarctica. Antarctica still is in its earlier form. What has happened to the rest of the world? We have created a ruckus, she says. She uses the word ruckus. Ruckus means havoc, that we have to make the world miserable to live in. We have created cities, villages, towns, megacities and whatnot. We have changed the face of the world, okay, to satisfy our own needs. We have cut down trees. We think that nature is our slave. We feel like we don't share the planet, but we are the owners of this planet. That's our attitude. And what are the different reasons that the earth is going towards the end? Increasing population. Population is increasing day by day. We need more food, more houses, we need internet, 3G, 4G, 5G, and in this way the world's climate is changing. Increasing population, increasing carbon dioxide, like our vehicles, they emit, the AC that we use, the vehicles that we run on the roads, they all emit harmful gases. So carbon dioxide volume is also increasing. Climate is gradually changing, that is leading to global warming. My dear students, you must have read in science, right, about global warming. The Earth's temperature is increasing so much that our author is worried. Will Antarctica melt? All that beauty I got to see at Antarctica, will all that wipe out? Will Antarctica be no more? Just imagine, my students, what if all the glaciers, all the ice of the Antarctica melts, and that there will be a flood. There will be a flood in the entire world, and the world will extinct in a jiffy. Now, can you understand why the author says that Antarctica is the place from where you can know about the past, the present, and also the future? Because you see, how you can know the past? Because by seeing the objects in Antarctica, which are still now fresh, it has biodiversity. Look into these two words, my students, biodiversity and carbon records, that is present still in Antarctica. little different types of animals are there which we cannot see in other countries because of the climate. It's cold there, the weather is cold, that's why those animals thrive there. Biodiversity means different types of life systems that are present in Antarctica till now. It has carbon records, she says. And what is carbon record? Carbon record means by seeing the different objects in Antarctica, scientists can find out the age of those objects. For example, if there can be a different kind of animal, for example, by seeing that animal or by examining that animal, the scientist can find out what's the age of that animal. And it might turn out that those objects are like millions of years ago, they are there in Antarctica. And why they could survive in Antarctica? Because human is not there. Then she talks about the Students on Ice program, which I had informed you while when I started analyzing the prose. And why students are taken there to Antarctica, so that students can see, they can learn, and they can be aware that what is happening in the earth. When you can see yourself that yes, the ice is melting, oh my god, ice is really melting day by day, then you can understand, no, this global warming has to be stopped. That's why students has been taken there. It's easy to be at home ignoring everything, like, right? We'll be sitting in our sofa or lying down in the bed listening to TV and with our mobile phones and all that. And we every day we hear about global warming, right? But we don't pay any attention to it. We feel like, let's see, whatever will happen, it will happen. No. The author wants to say, go to Antarctica. If you have a chance in your life, go to Antarctica and see how beautiful the earth can be. But we are not preserving it. We are creating a havoc. We are destroying the beauty of the earth. And these beautiful ice sheets, the ice mass, the icebergs, the glaciers, see, they have started to melt away. So our author says that Antarctica is still in its pristine form. Pristine means ancient form, my students. And why ancient? You see, because there's no human there, there's no pollution, there's nothing. So Antarctica still represents the Earth's beginning. Okay, and there is a very simple ecosystem in Antarctica. What's the ecosystem? That is, we can talk about the food chain that exists in Antarctica. There are no humans, there are no wild animals as such. Only the oceanic animals are there. The ocean that is found in Antarctica, and only different type of fish or insects or larger fish, smaller fish. The oceanic food chain she is talking about. That there is a plant called phytoplanktons there. And what are phytoplanktons? They are grasses that grow in the oceans. And what the phytoplanktons do, my dear students, they absorb the sun's energy. They assemble the carbon dioxide. Okay, so you see, carbon dioxide is a very harmful gas. That's why we breathe out carbon dioxide. And these plants, they absorb this carbon dioxide so that the environment is pollution free. They take the sun's energy and they perform photosynthesis. You must have learned about photosynthesis in your science classes. That is the way the plants produce their food. So the phytoplanktons, in this way, they produce food, and it scatters this fruit because of this phytoplanktons. The southern ocean's food chain is still being maintained. The important line our author says, just pay your attention. Take care of small things and big things will fall in place. If you take care of the small things in your life, the big things will automatically, they will fall in place. For example, she says about phytoplankton. These small plants, they can maintain this oceanic food chain, right? And what we humans are doing, we are spreading pollution. We are creating more and more amount of carbon dioxide. These plants can do so much to maintain the biodiversity, and we can't we? Then our author talks about ozone layer depletion. You all might know that because of this increasing pollution, because of the global warming, the ozone layer that actually filters the harmful UV rays that comes from the sun, right? This ozone layer is getting destroyed day by day, and scientists have given the final warning that even a layer more is depleted, the global warming will destroy the earth. She says that her journey was full of epiphanies, that is, moments of strong emotions, Okay, and then she goes to a flashback and says when they were just about to reach Antarctica, that is, they were traveling by the boat, they were traveling by the ship Academic Shokalski, and when they were about to reach Antarctica, there was a huge iceberg. Remember the scene from Titanic? Iceberg was stretching throughout the entire area from Peninsula to Tadpole Island. Okay, and they could not move forward. So now what the captain of their ship said, the captain means the pilot of the ship, he said that we have to head back north. The ship cannot go now, so you have to walk. Just imagine such a cold place, and now you have to walk. And walk where? You have to walk on the ice. How cold it might be. It might be difficult also, but adventurous at the same time. So all of them, they got down from the ship and they started walking towards their destination. And gangplank, he says that when they come down from the ship, they have to reach the shore, right? Otherwise, how can they walk? So a gangplank is a board between it's a board between a boat and a shore. So they have to reach the boat. Okay, the ship cannot go. So they walk on the gangplank. That is, they walk on a board to reach the shore. So now they are walking, okay, and walking on what? They are walking on ice, because it's so cold in Antarctica that the oceanic water has turned into ice, and below that ice, several meters down the ice, that is like 180 meters below the ice, there's the ocean. So they are basically walking on the ocean. Just imagine, students, how adventurous is that. So 52 members were there all together, and they all have started walking because their ship cannot go forward because of the iceberg. And they were walking on stark whiteness, means they were walking on ice sheet. Under their feet there was the world of ocean. Just imagine, students, you are walking on ice, on water, on the ocean, and below your feet, you know, there's the ocean. There are multiple hundreds and thousands number of fishes, whales, dolphins. They are all walking below you. Right? Isn't it amazing? Then she talks about the crab-eater seals. Seals, as you can see in the picture, seals are the animals that thrive in the cold countries or the cold parts of the world. So they could see that on the shores, different parts, they are walking, right, and on their sides they could see that seals are basking in the sun. So now we are almost at the end of our prose, and there again our author repeats that she had traveled all the way to Antarctica by traveling 9 time zones, 6 checkpoints, 3 water bodies and whatnot. She talks about the beauty of the nature that she got a first-hand experience of. Now she has some questions rising in her mind. She's sad. She says, what will happen if Antarctica melts? The way global warming is increasing, the way the climate is changing in the world, the way the ozone layer is getting depleted, will Antarctica remain the same? No, she is scared. Will human go extinct? Right, students? When the world has started to warm up, dinosaurs, they went extinct, right? Because they could not tolerate, and they eventually died out. So one day, will the temperature of the earth go to such an extent that the humans will also die? Who will save the earth? She has questions rising in her mind. Who will save the planet Earth? That's why, my dear students, they have taken high school students to the mission, because they want that these children should know that what is happening to the world, so that they can see the beauty of Antarctica. They can see that yes, the ice is melting. We need to stop the melting of the ice. The world's temperature is rising. We should control it. When shall we be aware? Isn't it high time to be aware, my dear students? Just go into self-introspection, go into speculation, and you will understand that our earth is so beautiful. But we need more and more and more. And in this greed, we are exploiting the resources of the nature. We are exploiting the limited reserves of natural sources. The sources are limited, but we are using them unlimitedly. We need to stop. We need to compose ourselves, get a moment to think and analyze that no, we have to prevent the earth. Now let's talk about some questions from your textbook. Students, you can see this chapter or this text is so informative that various short questions like 2 marks, 3 marks questions can be given from this chapter, right? Like the name of the author, how she reached Antarctica, name of the ship, what is Gondwana, how Himalayas were formed, what are phytoplanktons, what are the reasons of global warming, why did they could not reach Antarctica by ship, why is Antarctica still pristine, or name of the program and who led it. Various types of short questions can be framed from this chapter, and if you read the chapter line by line, you will be able to solve these questions. So now let's talk about the long answer questions. Okay, so the first question, the world's geological history is trapped in Antarctica. How is the study of this region useful to us? We will say that yes, the world geological history is trapped in Antarctica because it's the coldest, driest and windiest part of the world, right? There was a time when India and Antarctica were the part of the same landmass, that is Gondwana. Human beings had not yet arrived on the global scene, and the climate of Gondwana, including of Antarctica, was much warmer. Now the study of Antarctica shows us that Gondwana prospered for 500 million years, right? But around this time, dinosaurs had wiped out and the age of the mammals started. The landmass was forced to separate into different countries, and in this way, India, then Antarctica, South America, North America, even the Himalayas were also formed. It had created a cold circumpolar current, and it made Antarctica frigid. It now stores about 90% of the world's total ice volumes, and hence the study of Antarctica helps us in knowing the geological history of the world as well. Now let's talk about the second question. What are Geoff Green's reasons for including high school students on the science expedition? Because he says that if students are included in this mission of students on ice, then they can see with their own eyes that glaciers are retreating, the ice shelves collapsing. They can realize that the threat of global warming is real. All these things can make students on ice expedition quite an interesting and instructive experience. Now let's talk about the third questions, that is, take care of small things and big things will fall place themselves. The author actually wants to say that Antarctica has quite a simple ecosystem. It lacks biodiversity, right? The study that there is a very little or small food chain, only small phytoplanktons are there, and it's quite interesting. They are grasses of the sea. They do photosynthesis, and in this way they maintain the entire ocean's food chain, right? There is a great relevance in the statement in the context of Antarctic environment. These small things have to be taken care of. If they are taken care of, big things will fall into place. But if global warming is not arrested, it will lead to serious consequences. Let's talk about the fourth question. Why is Antarctica the place to go in order to understand the Earth's present, past and future? Very important question, my dear students. We come to know that about 650 million years ago, there was a huge and a giant supercontinent which is called the Gondwana. And India and Antarctica were parts of the Gondwana. Later, when dinosaurs eloped, Gondwana started to break, and all India, Antarctica, Himalayas and different countries were formed. The study of Antarctica can help us to understand the Earth's present, future as well. About 80% of Earth's total ice volume is to be stored in Antarctica. There are no trees, buildings, human settlements in Antarctica. We lose all earthly sense of perspective and time there. Antarctica also provides us a warning for the future. What will happen if global warming results in constant melting of icebergs? It will bring disastrous results. Maybe humans will wash away, right? The further depletion of the ozone layer will also affect the sea animals, vegetation and humans very adversely. So these are few of the questions, and in this way you can frame the answers. Thank you so much, students, for being with me. I hope this video will be very helpful to you. See you soon with another topic. Till then, bye.